again. Oh, what a wild trip it's been. You and I met a few years ago, one or two or three.
We weren't gray yet.
Boy, it's an amazing time. But you were one of the first women to really make her way into aviation journalism. We had a chance to work with you early on, and of course, now with 12 books behind you, holy smokes, it's an incredible career, but more important, an interesting way to look at what's happening to aviation. As one of the more notable women writing about the aviation community, you have to have seen some amazing things.
Yes, I'm thrilled to have been able to participate in it.
What brought you into all this?
My first husband was a fighter pilot, and I went to a party one evening, and another Air Force wife said, "I got my pilot's license today." Wow, that sounds like a really neat thing to do. So in 1969, I became a private pilot, and as we women are wont to do, we can't just stop with one level. You got to go on and get your commercial and your instrument and your CFI, and I did all that. And about 1970, I was a CFI, and my mother had a stroke, and I was airborne with a student. They called me on the radio and said, "Your mother's in the hospital." And I looked over at him, and he said, "Not my mother, she's dead." And so we had to regroup. You can't be out flying an airplane around when you've got someone who needs care. So I took a course in how to write for children. I thought I would love to do that, combine the aviation and children's interests, and I flunked badly. It's a very demanding field. The word limits and the word age limits are so specific that it's much easier to write for adults. And that's been my thrill.
Cirrus Design's Vision SJ50 single-engine personal jet offers exceptional fuel efficiency, flexible seating for up to 7, advanced avionics, and all the Cirrus safety features you expect, including the Cirrus airframe parachute system. With its detailed design, the Cirrus Vision is technologically advanced, yet engineered to be simple to fly, to allow owner pilots more lifestyle pursuits than any other personal aircraft. Learn more about the Vision SJ50 at cirrusdesign.com.
You've had an opportunity to document the lives and the industry in a number of ways. You've done some phenomenal works on some of the most notable women in aviation, Patty Wagstaff, Julie Clark, and so forth. Can you talk about the responsibility you have in documenting their lives? Because in many cases, the only chance you really get to know a Patty Wagstaff or Julie Clark is via the book. And
it's a trust that I hold in total confidence and honor. And as an integrity to aviation history that I hold in honor, too. My first book was Edna Gardner White, and she told me she soloed a Swallow TP in 1926. Well, you go to the research at the Smithsonian and you discover the Swallow TP wasn't even flown until 1929, wasn't out on the field until 1930. So you have to have integrity, not only to the person about whom you're writing and with whom you're sharing, and that's a wonderful trust. Plus that, in aviation, it's a small world, and they talk to each other. So there's a reputation that you honor and respect, and not only their reputation, but your own. You're quickly blackballed if someone else tells someone else they can't trust you.
What convinces you that it's time to do a book on something? What's the genesis for this is a book that must be written?
Just an example. This year is 2009. It's the 100th anniversary of flight in Canada. The first woman of Canadian aviation is Mabel Bell, Alexander Graham Bell's wife. She funded the first flight, which was the flight of the Silver Dart, which was in Baddeck, Nova Scotia in 1909. And they have recreated that flight. They're flying a replica Silver Dart up there. But it's the first flight in the British Commonwealth. And that's significant. And it wouldn't have occurred had it not been for Mabel. And people don't know that. And it excites me to find out information like that and little gems of knowledge that I think need to be known, and people who need to at least have their names heard.
Welcome to the Aero-News Network, the aviation world's most comprehensive news and information resource. Real-time 24/7 online audio and video programming, where aviation has been getting updated for over a decade. Distributing over 11,000 stories, features, audio, and video programs every year. Only ANN covers aviation and aerospace with this much depth, insight, and expertise. Check us out on the web at aero-news.net.
What's in the future for you? What projects interest you? What might we see next from you?
I'm working on a book right now about a Alaska glacier pilot. Her name is Kitty Banner Seaman. She's the pilot who taught John Denver to fly on floats, and she's the pilot who made rescues and guided climbers up to Denali. Kitty is another name. She's in my book Stars of the Sky, so you can get introduced to her in an episodic way. But her story is rich and again needs to be known, so that's what I'm working on at the moment. I believe it's going to be called, a working title at the moment is This Bush Pilot is a Lady.
Well, Ann, I have to tell you, we had the good fortune to work with you early on in your career. I've always had just a real appreciation for the work you've done, and the books that I've read. The work you did with Patty was very good, and that couldn't have been an easy story to tell because there's so much, and trying to organize a life that frenetic into something that makes sense has to be just an incredible piece of work.
Well, that was a cooperation between the two of us. Patty is an excellent writer. She's an excellent poet. She could have done it all herself, and probably might have had she not been so busy trying to perfect her flying. But the first article I ever wrote about Patty, I wrote about Joanne Osterud, Julie Clark, and Patty, and I said, "Move over, guys. There's room at the top," and that was the title of the magazine article. And I really cherish that she trusted me with her story. It wasn't an easy story, and it wasn't easy to make the repetitive portions of her life interesting. She's in my newest book because of the work she's been doing in Kenya, flying with the Kenya Wildlife Service. So, you know, these people don't quit on their laurels. They keep on being outstanding, and I just think that young people today should try writing, try talking with experts, try finding out what makes them tick, what gives them their passion and the fire in their bellies. It's an exciting thing for the writer to be able to have that trust.
It's an exciting thing for us to read. Ann, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Nice to see you again.
Good to see you.